Yo, what is up, fight fans? What's up, combat sports fans? It is your boy. It is your brother in arms. Once again, it is Isaac Ike Feldman, aka Ike Armbar Mitzvah Feldman. Yes, I may not be in the best sounding or best physical state. I am just getting over possibly my third stint with COVID, possibly my third flu, but your boy is here giving a live instant reaction to Jake Paul losing to Tommy freaking Fury. Again, if you guys want to get involved, give me a call 646-820-9848. Follow me Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, TikTok at Ikedagon, everything Ikedagon. Obviously, I'm not in my lovely studio. This is a kind of a makeshift broadcast. I saw the reaction and the amount of people that were paying attention to Jake Paul and Tommy Fury, and I felt appropriate to give a reaction. Again, guys, I'm sorry that I'm not in my high res 4K beautiful mic setup. I'm in pajamas, as you can see in the background. The mirror. I am wearing my long johns. So let's dive into the results. Jake Paul lost to Tommy Fury. I thought going into the latter rounds that Jake Paul was up because of the knockdown. I guess they're seeing that jab that caused Tommy Fury to fall was a slip. I get it. I think Tommy came out more aggressive at the start of the fight. He was controlling the ring generalship. He had distance control. He was edging out Jake Paul in significant strikes through the first two rounds, and it seemed that Tommy Fury came in well conditioned, well prepared, was listening to everything that his father and his brother were telling him, seemed very prepped, very focused, very professional game plan. Seeing Tommy Fury's past fights, he was a very, 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 very low level professional boxer. But it seems that he really honed in and focused and took this fight when he was completely healthy and was completely trained up to his best to compete against Jake Paul, who he brought the best out of Tommy Fury. So that says a lot about Jake Paul as well, that Tommy Fury respects Jake Paul, and Jake Paul brought the best out of Tommy Fury, which looked great. I thought there was a moment where Tommy Fury was going to fade and not last the entire 8 rounds. I thought around 5 or 6 rounds, 5 or 6, that Jake Paul was going to take over the fight and just run to the finish line. Jake Paul, I think, thought that. Jake Paul came in, I believe, at one of the lightest weights he's ever competed at, and you could tell he was trim, had a great gas tank, could take everything that Tommy Fury was dishing out. Also had enough in the tank to deliver a ton of strikes and a ton of power strikes late in the fight. And that's a credit to Jake Paul's conditioning. Man, I think he thought he was going to get Tommy Fury out of there in the 8th round because he came out guns blazing in that 8th round. You saw the huge overhand rights that he was still slinging from the first minute to the 24th minute. And then also you saw the slip, which I thought the judges would always rule in favor of the A side, which is Jake Paul, who is the Floyd Mayweather, the Conor McGregor in his respected space. But I think I got to go back and watch this because I thought Jake Paul stole away the fight, that he hung around, dealt with Tommy's offense enough to get a decision, and that he, wow, would just move on to bigger and better things. But still wrapping my head around this. And thank you guys for all the Twitter interaction. I appreciate it for reaching out and for seeing my stuff at Ictagon on Twitter. I'm trying to build that up as well. But man, for 128 followers, not bad interaction on that side. Um, but wow, I got to go back and score this fight as if I'm a judge, not just as if I'm live tweeting and getting exciting for this fight that it actually came together. It's been a long time in the making, over a year. It was supposed to be scheduled, I believe, for last December, December of 2021, and Tommy Fury had to pull out with about 10 days, maybe a week, maybe 2 weeks of the fight for like a severe bronchitis, something that required a procedure, very heavy duty stuff. And that's where you guys saw Tyron Woodley step in and get KO'd in the fifth round against Jake Paul. That was supposed to be the fight against Tommy Fury. That was supposed to be today. But what is that? 14 months later, Tommy Fury took the training, like I said, completely serious. You saw him elevate his game. There's a funny clip between Joe Rogan and Dave Portnoy that's going around where they're arguing about Tommy Fury's skill, and this makes Joe Rogan sound more of like a genius. That he called Tommy Fury a legitimate professional. Dave Portnoy was disparaging Tommy Fury, saying that Jake Paul was going to walk through him. I didn't think he'd walk through him. I thought Jake Paul would get the decision, the nod, especially with that slip, that knockdown. I thought the judges would just see it a certain way. I think everybody feels that way when it comes to the A side of a combat sport, especially a combat sport that is solely reliant on the A side in the Floyd Mayweather fights, in the Jake Paul fight. You could even say that Jake Paul garners more power than a Floyd Mayweather and a Conor McGregor because he has less attachments than those two. But man, the Furies carry some weight as well. Pun intended, because those are some big boys. Tommy Fury is probably the best in shape. He could get Father Fury and Tyson Fury on his diet, and who knows, maybe we could see Father Fury come out of retirement and start to fight. Maybe Tyson Fury could drop down a weight class and fight Usyk at light heavyweight. But overall, fantastic performance by Tommy Fury. Great effort by Jake Paul to. I think he thought he had it in the bag, and I think he's very upset. I think he's going to go watch this fight immediately that he can at his first opportunity to rewatch the fight. But man, oh man, oh man, I'm excited for this. I think what Jake Paul does is excellent for the combat sports space. He receives his first professional loss, but did he really lose? No. There's going to be excellent hype for everybody that was discounting Tommy Fury. Now you're going to see if Tommy Fury can do it again. Can he do it better? Can Jake Paul bounce back in a significant manner to not only win, can he stop Tommy Fury? Is he going to put on more weight in his fight? Is he going to come in a little heavier, a little bigger to try to get Tommy Fury out of there when there is opportunity that Tommy Fury is gassing a little? I think Jake didn't have enough power to get Tommy out of there in those fifth and sixth rounds when Tommy was kind of reeling, kind of refining his gas tank, looking for that second win. I think there was opportunity there that can be corrected. So credit to Tommy Fury for getting the job done, for stepping in there. And let's see if we can give Jake Paul credit for getting the win in the rematch. And Jake, if you win the rematch, we got to get a trilogy. And can both of these fights happen this year? Can we do one in about 4 months? Would that put us around June? That would be nice. And then can we do the end of the year, November, December for the trilogy? I love it. And yes, I am saying Jake will win. He is a smart fellow. Yes, he received his first professional loss, but he's still undefeated in terms of self business management, if that is even a term. So I do respect Jake Paul, and I do respect the Fury clan and Tommy Fury in this moment. It's awesome. It's always awesome to be a combat sports fan, but I'm very impressed by what Tommy Fury had to do. I wrote on my Twitter that sealed it after the slip or the half slide knockdown. I was like, that sealed it for Jake Paul. Because again, anytime the A side gets any semblance of optic help, you see your opponent fall down. You see the crowd oohing and on with Jake Paul. You would think it would be in his favor. Now, granted, this fight was in Abu Dhabi. Okay. This fight was not on Jake Paul's home country. I did like what they did with the ceremonies and the national anthems for each country. This fight was not in Tommy Fury's backyard. This was not in the UK. It was a neutral territory. Okay, so if we're keeping it all neutral, run it back in Abu Dhabi. Okay, I didn't see any of these guys wearing or shaking hands with the sheiks or making deals with the sheiks. It seemed that, or with the referees or the commissions in Abu Dhabi, this seemed to be as fair as you can make a combat sports bout between two guys that you could understand if the fight was in UK. You could understand if the fight was in Madison Square Garden or the LA Forum or the Staples Center or in Florida. You could understand if this was in Wembley Stadium, if this was in the O2 Arena, which are UK stadiums. But they weren't. It was a neutral site, so you have to give credit where credit is due. Good job, Tommy Fury, to get it done. Again, guys, I appreciate the interaction on Twitter, on YouTube. This comes from Peanutology, who has, I believe that's the White House as his thumbnail. So I assume this is an American Peanutology Institute, or maybe it's just part of his whole ology thing. Yeah, the Institute. Maybe that's just a random photo and he just stole it off Google Images, and he's not paying royalties. But Peanutology, we do not care about your legality issues that you will be facing following this instant reaction to the Jake Paul and Tommy Fury fight. What we do care about is your comment and a great use of apostrophe. So Jake Paul's boxing record and great use of semicolon. You'd be surprised where grammar can go out the window. I've deleted 4 tweets in a row because I have to add the correct apostrophe or comma or hyphen to make things look more legitimate. Meanwhile, I'm the person who showed up late to my SAT. I think I left early. I think I played a guessing game inside those 3 or 4 hours. So who am I to critique Peanutology Institute? Jake Paul's record is 0-1. What I'm assuming that he's pointing to is that Tommy Fury was his first legitimate opponent. Okay, I can see where you're going with that. Tommy Fury looks the part, built like a Greek god. Looks like he's chiseled from stone. He's comes from a fighting family, a long lineage of family. You see his father, who's a towering of a man. You see his brother, who is the lineal heavyweight champion of the world, Tyson freaking Fury. Yes, it's fair to say that Tommy Fury is Jake Paul's most legitimate opponent, but his first legitimate opponent, I think that's a little rough. I think you got to give credit to Tyron Woodley and Anderson Silva in the fact that they have so much championship experience. Now, granted, yes, it is a completely different sport. I myself am competing in boxing and actually stepping into the ring after competing in mixed martial arts. Boxing is completely different, but there are some fundamental similarities in terms of throwing a punch, in terms of having power, in terms of spotlight, in terms of performing under the bright lights, in terms of cardio, in terms of pacing yourself, in terms of staying focused, having that Tom Brady, Michael Jordan clutchness. There is similarities. So I'd say Tyron Woodley and Anderson Silva, who were champions in their respective sport of MMA, are a little better than a 3-9, a 5-15 professional boxer, a guy who was, what was it, 10-100, who fought Tommy Fury. So I would say Tyron Woodley and Anderson Silva, they're a lot more respectable than the people that Tommy Fury have fought. And I think they would probably beat the people that Tommy Fury beat as well. So give Jake Paul a little credit. Sorry, peanutology, but that's a peanut brain take right there. I can't agree with that. Jake Paul deserves a lot more credit. What is he, 6-1 now? 6-1. That's legitimate. Tommy Fury 8-0, 9-0, something like that. Sure, that's good. Then on the flip, you could say that Jake Paul is the first legitimate opponent that Tommy Fury has fought. Fair? Fair is fair is fair. Another comment comes from, and again, guys, I'm not pre-screening these, so if you say something vulgar or naughty, it might get shown on the screen. So let's keep it rated R. Right? Is there anything worse than R? Maybe. Comment if there is any rating worse than R. Let me know. This comes from Jesse, who I believe it's an upside down thumbnail. Imagine people laughing at Jake Barley. I assume that's a misspell. Again, grammar, folks, grammar. At Jake Paul losing to a fighter that has 10 plus years experience than him. Imagine people laughing at Jake Paul losing. What the hell does this mean? Jeez, that's a riddle in and of itself. Imagine Jake Paul losing to a fighter that. Wait, is this sarcasm, Jesse? Is this sarcasm? Are you saying that it makes sense why Jake Paul lost to Tommy? Does Tommy have 10 plus years of experience? Is that what I'm hearing here? Is that what I was hearing in the broadcast of the Jake Paul versus Tommy Fury fight? That Jake Paul, while Jake Paul was on the Disney Channel, Tommy Fury was in the gym watching his big brother, watching his father do work, hit the pads, and he was in amateur fights. I think I heard a glimpse of that on the broadcast and on Twitter in the lead up to this fight. I didn't see any press conferences, any stare downs, any cool one-on-one interviews, which I do appreciate those one-on-one interviews that they do during boxing week. But Jesse, if you can elaborate, is Tommy Fury the one with 10 plus years experience? Please let me know. But I mean, Anderson Silva, if he's 48, if we're talking about experience, Anderson Silva's been training since his teen years. That's like 30 years. And John Fury's been training for about 70 years, if you're thinking about experience. I get what you're saying with it. But you got to give credit to both of these guys. Yes, they didn't fight the most respected opponents in the lead up to this fight. You can argue both sides of it. You can argue that Jake Paul fought MMA guys past their prime. Okay. You could argue that Tommy Fury fought guys who were working at a convenience store and then put on boxing gloves and took the fight. Okay. You can make that argument. And nothing wrong with either. Okay? You got to respect somebody for stepping in there. Even if they're doing a full-time other job, the means is to win. But if we're really breaking it down, look at boxing's history. I'm not joking. If you guys Google Ryan Garcia and Gervonta Davis, they have a big fight coming up in April 22nd in Vegas. It's going to be one of the biggest fights of this past decade, past 5 years at minimum, since the Wilder Fury fights. This is going to be top 3, top 5 fights. You have two guys who are encroaching on their physical prime. They are exceptional boxers in Gervonta Davis and Ryan Garcia, extremely skilled. King Ryan has that elusive, beautiful whip, like powerful speed in his punches. And on the other side, Gervonta Davis is a beautiful, amazingly talented distance control artist who can step back and can knock you out regardless of what foot he's on, regardless of what direction he's going laterally. Gervonta Davis is a powerful puncher. I think he's percentage-wise the most powerful puncher in all of boxing. So you have one of the fastest boxers in Ryan Garcia versus a powerful knockout artist in Gervonta Davis happening April 22nd. I cannot wait for that freaking fight. But to wrap it all and tie it together, go look at who those guys fought in their first 10 fights to make them both 10-0, because I believe they are both undefeated. Go look at who those guys fight. I actually did Google who Ryan Garcia fought. Guys who don't have Wikipedias. Okay, so if you know what that means, you know what that means. If you don't, copy and paste some of the names that Ryan Garcia and Gervonta Davis fought early in their career. Go look up their boxing record. I think it's boxrec.com, I believe is the website. And you will see that they beat these guys that were 3-9, 4-16, 4-12. Why? Is it because, and excuse me, I'm a little under the weather, guys, fighting my third or fourth stint of something going around up here in the Northeast. I know I would always get sick recently over these last few years when I traveled to Florida or Carolina, but this was I think I caught it from somebody in the boxing gym, because in boxing you are very close to one another. You guys are breathing the same air, so I know who got me sick at that gym. I know who got me sick, but the point is, are these guys being bullies by fighting somebody who's 4-12, who's 3-9? Ryan Garcia and Gervonta Davis, I'm talking about? No. If you sign the contract, you know what you're stepping in for. I'm talking about the guy who's 3-9 and the guy who's 4-12. You know what you're stepping in for. You're stepping in to try to knock off the prospect. You're stepping in to get a major payday, put your name on the map, and maybe change the trajectory of your career and get some attention in your corner. So I don't feel bad for them who are fighting Davis and Garcia. But it's a confidence builder. It's a freaking confidence builder. That Nate Robinson fight, that KSI fight, the Ben Askren fight, then the Tyron Woodley fight, the Anderson Silva fight. You guys don't see the climb, the confidence to get to the Tommy Fury fight. Jake Paul claims he's going to be fighting Canelo Alvarez in 3 to 5 years when he's 10-0, 12-0, well, no longer undefeated, as pointed out by Peanutology, who also just responded. Jake Paul, the Jake Paul show's over. Order restored. Yes, the Jake Paul show may be over for now, but the Octagon show is continued at IKETAGON. Give me a call, 646-820-9848. Let me know all your combat sports takes, thoughts, opinions, anything that's going to make me laugh. I appreciate it all. Welcome to the show. Peanutology, I appreciate you. Subscribe if you want. I'll get one of those cool little bell things. Ding! Subscribe! Bing! Subscribe! Bing! Subscribe! What the UFC does on their YouTube channel is pretty awesome. Every time they on their Twitch broadcast, hosted by Jens Polder and Robert Whitaker, anytime they get a new subscriber, they have a soundbite. And new, it's Bruce Buffer who does the soundbite for them. Bruce Buffer, who is also the brother to Michael Buffer, who introduced Tommy Fury and Jake Paul tonight. So a lot of similarities between MMA and boxing. Always. I wish they got along a lot more. I wish we saw Francis Ngannou, the lineal heavyweight champion of the UFC, fight Tyson Fury. I wish that was the fight. I wish we saw Francis Ngannou putting on. Hey, even if you want to do some hybrid fight, you put 4 ounce, 6 ounce gloves on Francis Ngannou and Tyson Fury. Have them step in the ring. I would love to see that. There's a huge. A lot of people don't know this, but boxers, they tend to break their hands a lot. Why? Nobody exactly knows. Could the hand wraps be a clutch? Maybe if you punch without hand wraps. Maybe if you punch without those gel wraps. If you just put the glove over your hand, tie the wrist as tight as you can. Maybe that's enough to build wrist strength. Maybe. Because I remember stepping in the boxing gym. The coach was astonished. He goes, "You're not gonna put on hand wraps, but before you punch?" I go, "No. In the MMA gyms, we put on the glove after grappling, and put on the boxing glove, and you just go to punch like that." And if I have to tell you guys, I believe MMA guys hit harder. They don't punch as much as boxers. They don't have as much. What would you say? Volume uh, in their output. It's a lot of swing, duck, move, swing, duck, move. Meanwhile, boxing is that move, that move, that move. Different rhythm, same fundamentals, but different rhythm. And I think Francis Ngannou versus Tyson Fury with 4 ounce or 6 ounce gloves would be just a freaking heck of a fight. Sign me up for that. Sign me up for that. What else we got from Peanutology? Peanutology, if you have not subscribed by now, what the hell you doing? I do appreciate your excellent grammar, way better than Jesse's, whatever the hell he was spewing at me. But another comment from Peanutology. NDO champ is next. Don't touch that though. What the hell does NDO? What the hell does NDO mean? Is that a type of drug? We don't condone drugs on this broadcast, Peanutology, but what we do condone is good takes. Don't touch that face bomb. I like the tease. What the hell are you teasing? I like the hint. You're hinting at something, but I don't know what the hell you're hinting at. Again, Jake Paul loses to Tommy Fury. Much respect for Tommy Fury taking those 14 months. Remember, he was supposed to fight Jake Paul December of 2021. That's the Tyron Woodley rematch. Now you could start to question everything with Jake Paul. You could question everything. He's fighting KSI, a fellow YouTuber. He's fighting a former NBA basketball player, a guy who's probably laced up gloves less than 10 times in his life before that training camp. He's fighting Ben Askren, a guy who's an Olympic qualifying wrestler, not a striker, a wrestler in Ben Askren. He's beating Tyron Woodley in the first fight, took her to the distance. It was a close fight. Jake Paul got stunned in that fight against Tyron Woodley. In the rematch, Tommy Fury, I said Tyron, did I say Tyron Fury or Tyron Woodley? Tyron Woodley, and then in the rematch, that was not supposed to happen. It was supposed to be Tommy Fury in the December 2021 fight, but it ended up being Tyron Woodley because Tommy Fury. Now everybody, I think, will be less on Tommy Fury's back and give him some credit because he took the fight when he was ready. Jake Paul countless times was calling out Tommy Fury for this fight and being scared and what do you call him, the Scurium Fury, because he could never get him in the same room for a contract or get him in the same country to fight. But after 14 months, and I'm sure much focus and much focus on getting his health to the right spot, Tommy Fury took the fight and he excelled. And as you saw today or tonight, whatever time zone you watch this fight in, excellent job by Tommy Fury to get the win and to prove the haters wrong, to prove Jake Paul wrong. I think Jake Paul was a little overconfident. And I think they're right at that same level. I thought Jake Paul was going to run away with the fight at the end when Tommy Fury slipped, but the judges, they saw it correctly. They judged a slip, not a knockdown, and this was a neutral ground. Again, this was not in the United States of America. This was not in the United Kingdom of Great Britain. This was in Abu Dhabi. So much respect to Tommy Fury and clan for rolling in there, getting the win, rolling out, and now they're gonna be part of Jake Paul exercising the rematch and making this fight happen. I hope it happens on neutral ground once again. I hope. The reality is that Jake Paul will exercise this rematch and probably bring the fight to the States. And when Jake Paul wins, yes, I'm saying Jake Paul will win the rematch. He is that educated, he's that smart when it comes to business, and he understands that business will die if he loses again, or if he loses in a dominant fashion to Tommy Fury in the rematch. That's going to be very bad for business. So Jake Paul will come back a better fighter, more calculated, less cocky, more humble, more respectful of Tommy Fury. I think he thought he was going to roll him to run through him, and you saw that in the later rounds. He started to put it on Tommy with the pressure and reverse course, and he came out in that 8th round looking to take off Tommy's head. I think he had a little hangover still from the Anderson Silva fight that he thinks he could do that to everybody. But Tommy Fury has not taken as much career head trauma as Anderson Silva has. Anderson Silva has been at the highest level of combat sports for a decade plus. There's a window where Anderson was just in the heat of the battle in all of his fights. Even in victory, Anderson would take a lot of damage. So I think Jake Paul was exposed today. I think he was very much exposed mentally. I think Jake Paul needs to understand where he is in this process. What is he, 25, 26? And he's tried to knock verbally on the doors of the greats in terms of Floyd, Canelo, Conor. He needs to take it easy, take a step back, reevaluate, understand where he is, run through Tommy Fury, do the trilogy in Great Britain. Once you do the rematch in the US, then you do the trilogy in Great Britain. Then beat him in Great Britain, win the trilogy, and you give yourself another year to improve. And if you get those 2 wins, now you're 8-1. Now you have a lot more experience. You fought the same guy, and sometimes it's actually harder to fight the same guy because now it's what are you going to do different? How are you going to win this chess match with the same exact chess pieces that you went into it with? And I'm fascinated to see what Jake Paul can do in the rematch. Tommy Fury might be the one who is now cocky, who maybe comes in a little overestimating his own ability in the rematch. Maybe comes in a little less trained, maybe not as good cardio, maybe hangs his gloves a little, maybe understands that he can bully Jake Paul in the clinch, that he felt Jake Paul's weight and he's not impressed by Jake Paul. I could totally see that happening. And this is the biggest fight coming up of Jake Paul's career. So it will be very interesting to see. Again, guys, I want to see Francis Ngannou versus Tyson Fury. Make that fight happen. Another comment from Peanutology Institute. NDO champ. What the hell does the NDO mean, though? You still didn't explain what is that? Is that like no damn organization? Is that another promotion for Jake Paul? Does that mean Jake Paul? Is NDO a Jake Paul thing? And I'm sorry I'm not in the weeds of the Jake Paul thing. I did mention earlier that I did not watch the press conferences, the one-on-one interviews with them. I didn't really follow them in the lead up to this fight. I didn't even think this fight was going to happen because of how many times Tommy Fury pulled out of the fight. So the fact that it actually happened, I was like, whoa. I was literally waiting until today, like, there's going to be something happen. Tyron Woodley is going to step in once again to get knocked out, maybe in the first round by Jake Paul. But no, it actually did happen. So my apologies if I don't understand what NDO means. And if you're referring to Roy Jones Jr. fighting Anthony Pettis, which I believe is slated for April 1st this year in Milwaukee under Gamebred Icon Fighting, which is an organization from Jorge Masvidal. If that's what you're referring to, that Roy Jones Jr. and Anthony Pettis, whoever wins that fight, should fight Tommy Fury. One, Jake Paul has got to exercise the rematch clause. So can we do the rematch happens, winner of that fights the winner of Roy Jones, Anthony Pettis? I think that'd be fun. End of the year. I think that gives Roy Jones enough time. If Roy Jones beats Anthony Pettis, which should not happen, this should be very similar to Vitor Belfort or Evander Holyfield. You have the much older, experienced boxing champion versus the younger, more exuberant MMA star. That's my comparison. Vitor Belfort and Evander Holyfield is very similar to Roy Jones Jr. and Anthony Pettis. Now, yes, Roy Jones, I'm sure, has taken a lot more time and taken this a lot more serious than Evander Holyfield did. Because if I'm not mistaken, Evander Holyfield stepped in on late notice because Oscar De La Hoya had to pull out. So I like it. Penology, that is your best take. Much appreciated, my brother. Or sister, because the internet is gender neutral. Gaming HQ, what's up? I think you misspelled what's up, but I think that's on purpose. I appreciate you. What's up with you? Is that a is Gaming HQ a is this a gaming YouTube? Let me know what you guys are playing. I just picked up a PlayStation. I didn't pick up. Delivered to my casa. That means house. A PlayStation 5. It came with the God of War Ragnarok bundle. And I'm looking at my Best Buy cart right now. I got MLB, Madden, UFC, of course, and waiting for Undisputed Boxing to come to console. Ghost of Tsushima. I hope I pronounced that correctly. Uncharted. And what was the final game I had? Spider-Man. There's the dual combo you can buy. You can buy the Marlon was it Marlon Morales and the Marvel Spider-Man bundle that they're selling it now for next gen. So I have that in my cart. Okay, Gaming HQ. Also, gaming. I went down that whole diatribe of my gaming history and current activity because of your handle. So let me know what you're playing. If you paid attention to what I just mentioned, let me know what I need to jump on first. God of War, Ghost of Tsushima. Sorry if I'm mispronouncing that. Uncharted, Next Gen, UFC, MLB The Show. Let me know out of those games what I should jump on first. So who won, Jake and Tommy? You're just killing me with this grammar today. Jake or Tommy? Question mark. Is that what you mean? Capital W. I thought Jake was gonna get the win in the later rounds. When I saw Tommy look tired, looked like he was gassing out. Jake seemed like he was turning it up a notch, but that was a slip in the 8th round. Yes, there was a very effective jab thrown by one Jake Paul who did floor Tommy, but it wasn't because of the action of the punch. It was because of Tommy slipping over his freaking long untied shoelaces and briefly touching the canvas and bouncing back up. The announcers were getting excited. They got me excited. I go, yeah, 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 yeah. It's a knockdown. Jake won. I think I wrote, Jake has sealed it in terms of getting the win, and then 5-3 Jake. So I was wrong. I was way wrong. And the Abu Dhabi Commission and judges were correct. Maybe I have to go back and really rescore it. I was live tweeting and tuning into the action, and when you know there's a break, which a little behind the curtain, if you guys didn't know, in boxing and MMA, there is a dance and a rhythm to striking. Two guys will go, or girls will go da 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 break, da 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 break, move, 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 da 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 break, and that's actually the that's how you really, really, really live tweet, because you watch the action and you know as soon as they break, you have about 3, 4, 5 seconds before they're going to interact again. So in those few seconds is when you can put together a tweet. So that's a little behind the scenes about how you live tweet, boys and girls. Um, yeah, Tommy won. Tommy was not tired. He was just pacing himself. Maybe he got a little overexcited and jumped the gun in the fifth and sixth round. It seemed like he was hugging Jake, and I was like, "Ooh, this is the longest fight of Tommy's career, I believe." I don't think he's gone past 4 rounds. This might have been the first 8-round fight, and man, he looked phenomenal. Great cardio, way to hold his power to the later rounds. But Jake Paul underestimated Tommy. He thought he was going to get him out of there. It seemed that Tommy had a better base, was maybe built a little bigger than Jake. That Jake was swinging him, tagging him with that hook, tagging him over and over and over. It was finding a home for that hook over and over and over, and he couldn't wobble Tommy. It seemed that Tommy, when he would just do the rare uppercut, the rare overhand, that he was doing more damage to Jake. And the judges saw that as well. So impressive performance by Tommy Fury. What's next? Gaming HQ, just for you. I'm going to re-explain this. Yeah, SOB. That means that's a belt. SOB is a belt. It's Saudi of Arabia belt. SOB. So when I'm calling you SOB, it's a compliment. Gaming HQ. The next fight is going to be a rematch. When does it happen? Hopefully, no later than July, no later than August. I can't do this October, November, December for a rematch. We just saw the fight. It was 8 rounds. Nobody got knocked down, allegedly. Nobody got knocked out. Yeah, there's some hurt feelings, but I'm sure when they wake up and they see the money in the bank account tomorrow morning, I think everybody's going to be happy and satisfied. Um, please make more money, make more entertainment for us. Do this June. June is nice and early. July is fair. August is pushing it. You get to the fall, I'm going to bury you guys for taking your time on this. Like, take 1 month off. Go to Paris. Go see the Eiffel Tower. See, eat a lot of crepes. The croissants. Go to Australia, mate. Go see the great whites. Go on the boats. Go surfing. Do whatever you want. Just get away for a month, 6 weeks, 8 weeks at most. All right. But on the flip, 8 to 12 weeks is what you truly need to get in the peak physical shape. So don't go on a coke, drinking, and drug binge following this victory, Tommy. Because I know Jake's going to want it back. And he's going to exercise it. When he hears a rumor that Tommy Fury's is at his worst, that he's got a big old Tyson Fury belly, that he went on all these vacations and all these drug and alcohol infused vacations, you better believe Jake's going to be training this whole time. Jake will be in the gym within the next 2 weeks. He's that type of psycho that Jake will be in the gym in the next 2 weeks. This was Tommy Fury's Super Bowl. This may be as good as it gets in terms of his combat sports career. Is this a cap for Jake Paul? No, 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 no. He's got many more years and many more big primetime fights to go. Like I said, I could see Jake Paul in the gym in less than 2 weeks. Tommy Fury, that dude is gonna buy an island. That guy is gonna buy a bungalow. He's gonna be drinking Coronas with Snoop Dogg on the beach, smoking that devil's lettuce, and just enjoying sunrise after sunset after sunrise, and getting fat and looking closer to Tyson Fury than Tommy Fury. And when Jake sees a picture of Tommy Fury in Cancun or Temptation Island 2, whatever the hell he is, looking like a big old fat goblin, that's when Jake Paul is going to exercise his rematch clause, because that's what an A side does, ladies and gentlemen. I've explained you how to live tweet. I've now explained you how to freaking do a rematch clause. So I love you guys. I'm going to wrap up. If you like what you hear, subscribe. At Ikedagon.com or on YouTube, LinkedIn, TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, everything Ikedagon. And I don't have my audio set up here. Again, it's in the lovely studio. I promise you guys, I'll be back in the lovely studio. But it's warmer up here. It's cold in the studio. It's cold in the studio. If you guys want your voicemails replayed to the world, hello world, then give me a call, 646-820-9848. Until then, your boy, Isaac Ike Feldman, a.k.a. Ike Armbar Mitzvah Feldman, is out. Peace.